Yo, what is going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped back for another OPTC video, and in today's video, we're taking the new Super Sugo Fest Kaido into the Forest of Training Straw, and we're gonna absolutely devour it. Like, not even kidding. Like, I'm not holding any, I'm not taking any prisoners in this particular piece of content. I'm going in and I'm absolutely devouring the Forest of Training Straw, because I do want to talk about the power creep that has hit the game thanks to the 8th anniversary, and show off what this new Kaido can do. So that's the team, those are the supports, let's dive on in! Alright, so we're going to kick it off at stage 11, because that's where the forest starts to get very, very annoying, actually, because of this bloody Okiku stage. This Okiku stage is actually so arrogant. This Okiku stage is designed to just destroy your supports, and it does take a little while to get through, because she can bind, like, 1 random unit, then 2 random units, and 3 random units, and she blows away your friend captain. But I just want to showcase here, like, the power of the dual units that Kaido has access to. Whitebeard and Roger, Shirahoshi Mancherry V2, as well as V1 VV Rebecca. Now, V1 VV Rebecca aren't always a striker, but they work so well under Kaido, because what you can do is, with these three switch abilities, you get a 1.5 times attack boost, a 1.5 times orb boost, 2.5 times chain lock, 3000 healing, orb manipulation, as well as utility to remove slot bind, despair. And special bind. Just with those 3 alone, and then bringing a friend captain that might have level 4 Kaido, and then just fulfilling the Kaido's requirements to get the super class, you can do some pretty wild things. Now, I have been on a bit of a gallivant about how I think Kaido is not the worst of the 3 new legends, but I feel like he needs the most help out of the new legends. In terms of being well-rounded, he doesn't really give his team everything he needs for regular content. However, for Kazuna, I do think he's going to be absolutely insane. For what he can do in terms of just big, busted numbers, your boy Kaido is going to be the man to go for. Whenever it comes to a deck super boss, you bet your ass you're going to be running Kaido as a captain or a friend captain, then trying to fill out strikers to meet the super striker condition. Nevertheless, he can still do content and beat content without even using that super tandem ability. Honestly, even not even getting the super class, you don't even really need it, because Kaido can just do some absolutely wild things. Getting the super class is nice, and obviously with the release of his new batch, being King, Queen, and Jack, it actually helps out drastically, because not only do they have busted sailor abilities, but they satisfy that super class condition, which means that you can actually gain those wano slots that you need on Kaido to get the actual crazy 1.5 times damage. And just with that, you can do some pretty wild things. With this particular run today, what we're actually going to do is, we're going to lock all of our orbs on this stage against Hold'em, and then we're going to get the super lock mechanic on the next turn. Now, if you guys have done the Hawkins Forest, if you've seen videos on the Hawkins Forest, it is an absolute meme now. It used to be incredibly tough, but what most people do is lock a bunch of recovery orbs on this particular stage to get through the content and just stall out where you need to stall out and just heal where you need to heal. With Kaido, though, we're not fucking around. We're not here to fuck around. Kaido is just going to go absolutely AWOL with a full, well, almost a full board of wano slots. Now, I do put Jack in the bottom right away from Roger because I do want that tandem slot, because I do want to get the super tandem on the final stage. But nevertheless, you actually don't need it. It's wild how you actually just don't need it. Now, I do have the Izo Kiku support there. You don't need it because you're popping this special anyway. I thought it would be cool to sort of stall a turn there, but nevertheless, I just realized we're going to get back Shirahoshi Mancherry by the time we get to where we need it to be. So nevertheless, we'll just use it there to remove the paralysis. From here, basically just switching with Whitebeard and Roger every single turn, getting the 2.5 times chain lock when we need it as well from VV Rebecca is going to help us out so drastically, because we can just hit goods and greats, and with those wano slots, getting the extra 1.5 times damage literally every single turn, Kaido is just going to absolutely blitz this content. Now, what I would do on that previous stage is actually take a turn there, if I'm completely honest with you guys. That way you don't have to sort of stall as much here on Kyorishiro. I feel like with the switchability of Shirahoshi Mancherry, you could just get through that stage in one fell swoop. Actually, now I'm looking at it, no, you wouldn't be able to, because it's 2 turns of special bind. So you're going to actually have to stall here, unfortunately. So just do it the way that I did it, now that I'm actually looking at it. Unless there's a way to get special bind removal on VV Rebecca. You could use something like the Viola support, I guess. That would definitely work. That would actually probably work way better. If you have Viola support, definitely use the Viola support, because then you could just take out this stage in just 1 turn, and it would be absolutely hunky-dory. But once all that sort of goes away, you can remove the damage reduction and defense up that Kyorishiro puts up with VV Rebecca. And that's another reason why they're here. They're not only just here for their great switch ability, but they're also here to give us the utility we need to get around damage reduction and defense up. But as I was saying, with these switch abilities, we just basically tear our way through this forest. We don't need that many specials. We just need to remove those defensive effects. And then you're just basically good from there. Jack's great because he can remove Threshold. Vivi and Rebecca remove the damage reduction and the defense up. And then Whitebeard and Roger are removing stuff like Despair. So is Shirahoshi Mancherry. Their switchy abilities removing Blind and whatnot as well. On this particular stage against Jack, he gives us 2 turns of Despair, and he makes all orbs, well, not all orbs, he makes Strength and Dex orbs unfavorable for the rest of the run. And obviously that hinders your ability to give yourself matching orbs if you have like an ability to make orbs matching, because it won't overwrite that. So it is a little bit annoying unless you use something like Versicana to get through that. But what we're just going to do here is we don't have to worry about it because we have a full board of Wano slots. And we locked a Psy Orb, whether it's a Psy Orb, whether it's a, ideally you want it to be a Psy Orb, because then Whitebeard and Roger make it, matching. But, from now on, like, we're just absolutely Gucci, as I mentioned. Getting that, 1.5 times attack on orbs with Wano Orbs, and the extra 1.5 times damage that Kaido can provide. Going through full immunity, too, by the way, guys, just absolutely insane. With that, you just salvage specials, you have healing with Vivi Rebecca. We have 125,000 HP as well, which is absolutely busted. So tanky as well. Even sitting at half HP, we're sitting at 62k, which just means that Kaido's just like not going to have issues. Even if you cop Despairs and stuff like that, you're just going to be absolutely fine because you have Overheal, you have, like, imagine having Overheal as well, like a full Overheal with Kaido. You'd be sitting at like 250,000 HP with the amount of damage that he can output, and it's just absolutely nutso. Unfortunately, though, on this Jack stage is where we sort of hit a bit of a halt. Jack has 4 turns of damage reduction and Threshold, as well as giving us 3 turns of attack down after preemptives. So unfortunately, we do have to hang around here just for those 3 turns. I couldn't weasel away to, like, you could probably replace Roger and Whitebeard if I'm completely honest. But it's even still, you'd be stuck on that Jack stage with some Despair. I couldn't weasel away to get, like, attack down, defense up, damage reduction, and Threshold, as Strikers lack that utility. Strikers' biggest downside, they are just fully just power-centric orientated at the moment with stuff like Yamato and Ace, Whitebeard and Roger, X-Drake, Kaido. All these characters just have such crazy damage output. There's not a lot of characters that have insane utility. The only one that has like really good utility is something like Shirahoshi Mancherry. But when it comes to getting utility as well as stuff like damage reduction, as well as maybe removing like attack down or bind or despair and stuff like that, strikers do struggle quite a lot. You can obviously run 2 characters like the Vivi Rebecca combination and the Shirahoshi Mancherry combination we're using now. But that means you'd have to use 2 specials in 1 turn instead of 1. With stuff like Free Spirit, for example, they have Bobbins, which is like amazing for this stage, because not only does he remove the damage reduction, the Threshold, he can remove attack down. And I find that's where strikers struggle a lot. That and Block Orbs. Now, like I said, I've been shouting the praise of Block Orbs for a while now, and obviously we had that little tease of Super Block in the game as well. So that this might not be like that drastic as Kaido struggles with them anyway. But the fact that Kaido doesn't have too many options to get around Block Orbs, besides like just salvaging Wano Orbs like we're doing today, is a bit of a detriment, because you do need a tandem slot to get his super tandem effect. And without anyone that can rotate Block Orbs into tandem slots besides something like Sober Mask, or you could use something like Versicana because he's a powerhouse, and then use the super class to get the tandem slots with Kaido, he struggles drastically to get that. And when I mean like he doesn't like you can go, sure, Stump, you just do what you just said, right? The problem is, when it comes to this type of content, look at that, that's just decimation. When it comes to this kind of content, you don't have that many spaces on your team for stuff like Forest and Dofi 2 and Revolution Army 2. And I do understand this is not where Kaido is like built for. Kaido's like, he does it, he beats it, but he doesn't do it the best. Nevertheless, that's not a discredit to the character, and that's not what I'm saying. But I find that when you are team building for Kaido, it can get quite a bit of a head scratcher, because you start to overthink things when you don't need to. You just need to underthink them and just rely on what damage output he can do. And if you have subs like Yamato and Ace, X-Drake, Page 1 ulti, what's his name? Whitebeard and Roger, all of these characters are going to be incredibly good underneath Kaido, as he does what he's built for. He brings the damage, he relies on everyone else to do all the other stuff for him. And as you guys will see here, like, that's exactly what we do, right? Like, we've barely used specials. Like, we've just barely used them. We've just been relying on Whitebeard and Roger's switch ability, the 1.5 times damage that we can get through the Wano slots, and we just get to the end, super hunky-dory. Once we do hit this final stage, though, and this is what I was saying, you do need to use 2 specials here, because Shirahoshi Mancherry are designed to remove the Despair. They can also remove the Burn, which is great. And then Vivi Rebecca are going to remove the Defense up. That's sort of what I was saying with, like, you have to bring 2 characters to sort of do what you need to do here. Otherwise, you're kind of stuck a little bit, because you don't have characters, or strikers don't have characters that can sort of just fulfill both of those requirements. We do have an attack boost with the switchability of Wadja. We have an Orb Boost with Kaido. We are going to get the Super Tandem here. And even with type disadvantage, Kaido is just going to absolutely destroy this particular stage. Like, it's not even fair. So, see you later, Bowser Hawkins. Striker's power is almost unrivaled in the game, but unfortunately, their utility does suffer a little bit. Let me know what your thoughts and opinions of this new Kaido are in the comment section below, and while you're down there, don't forget to belt the like button for me. If you are new as well, if you haven't done so already, hit that big red subscribe button. But guys, wherever you are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, I thank you for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Later!